Okay, good. Hello everyone, and hello Simon. Today we have Simon Grimstrup. I don't know if I spell this correctly. He's also known as the Barbarian Trail runner. So he runs trails, and he got some impressive achievements. Some of his achievements are in 2013, he won a jungle ultra race of 230k. It was a stage race. In the same year, he went to Vietnam and won a mountain marathon of 70k with a lot of altitude meters each time. He's also the best Dane so far to finish the UTMB, and it was 29th place overall. Very impressive. Later on, he went to Mount Fuji to become 7th at the Ultra Mount Fuji. More recent, you could find him in the desert, where he only became 8th. What happened? But he made it up. A year later, he made it up in Fiji by winning the Lost Island Ultra 220 kilometers race. And a little bit later, you could find him in the ice, where he won the Beyond the Ultimate Ice Ultra of 230k. And the list goes on and on and on and on. And he's also an adventure racer, an endurance athlete. He competes for the national Danish trail running team. He is a race organizer himself, and he organizes is a tour guide as well, where he will talk a little bit more about it. So, Simon, welcome. Nice to see you again.
Thank you.
So, can you tell us a little bit more where this nickname comes from, the Barbarian Trail Runner?
Actually, it was a joke because I thought there were so many ridiculous names. So I found out this Barbarian Trail Runner. It sounded nice, and I made this fake. It was actually not fake, but this profile on Facebook, and showed it to one of my students, and she liked it. And suddenly it was all over, and then
suddenly
it's actually
exploded.
there. So actually, it's just invented. Yeah, but it's stuck on, and it's maybe it's actually shows
your true nature.
Get into race. Yeah, not like killing people, but just get the thing done and don't think too much about it. Just go out and run, have fun.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how I remember you, because we met in Nepal for the Everest Marathon, where you also became best non-Nepalese runner. And I remember we all had buddies and sharing tents, and you and your buddy, your tent somehow always ended up very close to our tent. And very often we were about the only two guys with a little bit of energy left in the tank to go and explore, do a little run. Well, if you can call it a run, it's more dragging the feet at that altitude, or go up on another mountain to look at the view. And I could see then already that you like really get inspired by mountains. And is that something that was always in you?
Yeah, I'm dragged to the mountains. Actually, the first time I went in at a real mountain, I started crying because I think I had a little bit of I was a little bit scared of heights, but I got over that. And as a teenager, I started hiking with my brother in Norway, doing long hikes and going skiing in the winter time, and learned how to be in the mountains, even though I come from flat Denmark. So yeah, I really
because you live in Denmark. Yeah, I believe the highest mountain is 143.
No, 172 meters.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, but I'm really dragged to the mountains, and I really like to be in the mountains.
Yeah, I definitely share the feeling, and this aspect was probably also why you were looking for like sports in mountains and nature. So can you tell us a bit more? When you grew up, you mentioned you went skiing in Norway, but did you do other sports? Did you have like a certain sport that you excelled in, or did you want to do as many as possible? How was it growing up in where you lived?
Actually, I played football like everybody else, soccer, and then I was a Boy Scout or a Scout, and like to be out in nature. And my father and family went fishing a lot. It's not like I'm not from a very sportive family at all. But when I was 10, my brother took me for a run in the local rowing club in the winter time, and I just found out, wow, I'm actually good at running. And then I just went on small adventure in my backyard, and I live in a place where it actually is really hilly and with a lot of forest, and I just started running, and yeah, just been like to move on my feet and with my own power since then.
Yeah. Is it because you mentioned before to me that you live now in nature? Is this close to where you grew up?
Yeah, actually it's only 10 km away,
Oh.
so it's really close. I like to go away and explore, but I also I'm very connected to the area where I live here.
Yeah. You must know the area very well then by now.
Yeah. I was showing a guy from Austria, a Danish guy. He lives in Austria around yesterday, and he said, "Oh, what a waste of time if you know all the paths in this area." Yeah, and I know it as really well.
Yeah. Good. When I was looking up and doing my research, I saw on your list of achievements. Probably it's not complete. Probably you're keeping quiet by some things, but it only starts in 2008 with your first ultra, where you impressively came second. But yeah, if I guess your age a little bit, what happened between when you said 10 years old, I discovered running, and then 2008? Of course, we don't run ultras when we are 10 years old, but can you shine a light a little bit on your path?
Yeah, I've never been into a club or anything. So I've been doing I really like to push myself and get tired, but I never really. I did some adventure racing and a lot of running, but actually I did some road running, and I always ended up getting injured. And in 2008, it was in Iceland. I did that race. Actually, I went much better than expected. I was second in Laugavegur, and it was 55 kilometers, and I never ran that far. And actually, it went very, very well. But after that, I got injured, and then it was pretty quiet until 2012, where I was guiding the national television across the Pyrenees, and then got inspired from all the posters about mountain running. And then I signed up for a race in Italy in 2012 and was third there. And then I was invited to the Jungle Ultra in Peru, and by coincidence, and I did really well. I was beating a guy called Ian, he was pretty famous at that time, and he didn't tell too much about it, but actually I just kicked his ass. And then I found out, wow, I'm actually pretty good at this. And then I got on the national team, and just
the ball kept rolling.
And just suddenly I was involved in ultra running and being invited for races. And
okay, nice.
Yeah, but I didn't see myself as an elite, because I don't see myself as an elite runner. My approach to it is probably not like an elite runner.
Yeah, we can talk a little bit about that later.
Yeah,
but maybe it's also something to do that you started quite late into this more elite field. Instead of people that consider themselves more like an elite runner, they kind of grew up with strict training regime and people behind them to push them forward.
Maybe.
You mentioned adventure racing. Usually, what kind of sports are involved in? Is it traditional this sport, or does it depend on the organization or?
Oh, it depends, but mainly it's running, trekking, and kayaking, and mountain biking, and then you do some fun stuff in between, or fun. Yeah, but it's endurance, so it's like a lot of mountain biking, a lot of running.
And that's usually in a team, no?
Yeah, it's always in a team. That's
and everybody of the team needs to do every discipline.
Yes, normally, yeah.
So you have to start and finish together.
yeah, it's a teamwork.
Yeah, and I can imagine a big part of that, because when I see the distances of the races you did, like that first one on the list was 450 kilometers.
Yeah.
That is, you cannot comprehend that when you never did this. And sleep deprivation is probably a big part of that.
Yeah, but you learn, yeah. That was in 2012, I think.
Yeah, and how did you learn how to cope with this, or how did you prepare for this?
I just did it, I think. I've been, yeah, but when you're used to being out on long days in the mountains, and sometimes you end up in a situation where you just have to keep on pushing until you get to the hut or whatever. So you learn to push. And actually, we didn't do very well on the sleep thing in the first adventure race. We slept too much.
Okay, so you were well rested for the rest of the race.
We were really well rested. Yeah. So now I'm much better at working without sleep. Yeah.
Yeah. So because there's different tactics to approach it, because I never did an adventure race like that, but you hear stories like people sleeping. Okay, now it's your turn for 7 minutes. You can sleep, and then you're up. And the more recent races you did like that, did you have a specific approach, or is it a big secret that you don't want to tell?
No secrets at all. I don't think. Well, in Norway last year, I did an FKT on a really tough stony route called the Massiv, which is 375 kilometers. And my approach was, I thought I could do it in 75 hours, but after a short, I wasn't very long into the run, then I knew, oh, this is gonna take long because it's very difficult. So I slept for maximum 1 hour, and I did that 2 times. The whole race in total was 103 hours, or the whole journey was 103 hours, and I slept 2 times 1 hour, and then small sleeps like power naps where I just sleep like minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and then in the end, actually, I had some friends. I had some friends. They helped me along the course, and they said, "Okay, I really need to sleep." Went to sleep, and then they woke me up and said, oh, "Now you've been sleeping half an hour. You have to move on." And afterwards, they told me I only slept like 1 minute. I feel fresh again.
Yeah. And how much time was there in between? So after how many hours were you allowed this 1 minute, this precious minute of sleep?
Yeah, well, that was pretty. In the end, I was really tired, and I was feeling. My goal was to stay positive all the way, but in the last 20 kilometers, it was just I just wanted to get it done, and it was not going very well, so I slept like quite often, but maybe 5 times 1 minute or something.
Yeah,
So
I can imagine. But that's a good strategy to stay positive along the way.
Yeah.
Long races.
That helps on a lot.
Yeah, just to make it clear for people that don't know, an FKT is the fastest known time.
Yeah. And the first known time. That's
okay.
Also a good approach. Find something nobody has done before, and then do it. Then you have an FKT.
yeah. During lockdown, I saw suddenly on bits and pieces that people also set an FKT as a first.
That's fine.
Yeah, but still, with such a distance, you'll have it for a while, I think.
Yeah, maybe. I hope somebody will go out and beat it, because that's the meaning of doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's fun to see.
It's a bit of a tribute to you, because you said the first time. So
yeah, but I think you do a lot of mistakes, but you also
learn a lot.
And you also do something right. So
I
think I can do it faster.
Yeah, because I tend to see, like, I did some trail running races myself, and every race is a journey already to get by at the starting line, because you do some preparations and there's a lot of things going on, but it's after a race, it feels like you have a life lesson, because every race is different. Even if you do a race twice, you learn something new. And is there any adventure or a memory or a victory or an experience in a particular race or in more than one that you want to share? Something that's very meaningful for you that happened, or that you went through?
Actually, there's many moments that I would like to share, but what you say also something important. You have a life lesson, but you also remember. I think my mind is very focused when you do those races, and I remember a lot. So I call like the life is very concentrated when you do these things. That might be the reason for guys like us doing these crazy things, stupid things, because you really remember, okay, what happened here. And
Yeah, but there's also hours and hours that pass that you don't remember anything, because you were so much in the moment that is like, it's for in your memory it's like few minutes, but actually it was hours, because you were focused. I have this impression.
yeah, yeah, but I have many moments, but do you think of something specific, or?
That's not a race that you say, because you went from jungle to desert to ice.
Yeah.
Or
I think,
maybe it can be a small race, or your first one that you say, it's a special meaning for me, or a place, or someone you met. Or...
yeah, I think there's many moments, and it has, because you're very alone when you're an ultra runner or ultra trail running, but you also are very connected to the other runners, because you help each other actually. And for instance, I think the first time I ran UTMB, it was the first time I did more than 100 kilometers. So it was really, wow, really something crazy to meet that the other persons that did that competition, and to help each other through the race. And that's a big thing. But also, just we did a little bit of talk before this, and I said, wow, we haven't been talking for like 5 years, but I feel like it's an old friend I'm talking to. And we spent like 3 weeks together in Nepal in 2015. So actually that interpersonal
it brings a special
connections.
bond.
Yeah. Last year I did the Ice Ultra in northern Sweden, and I met this really good and very competitive German guy called Andre Hook, and I think he's a really good sportsman, and he's even, I think I'm really fair play, but he was more. And the last day, he every day was like 5 stages. He started out really fast, and I ran the whole thing to try to catch him. And I was leading the race, and the last day it was in snow, so we had to choose, should we take snowshoes or not? And I decided, okay, I'll go with the snowshoes from the beginning. And it was like a lottery, because if it was not good for snowshoes, I would waste some time taking them off. And it was just a 15 kilometers, and we wanted to win, both of us. So we go out really fast. Andre, he just takes the lead, and I try my best to follow him. Then we find out, wow, it's hard packed. So I found out, shit, I have the snowshoes. But Andre, he's such a good sportsman, so he stops and say, okay, I'll help you get off these shoes, because then I can beat you. True. And he helps me get the snowshoes on my backpack and everything, and then he just kicks my ass, and I really like that. So
that's a nice,
that's a good story. Yeah, and I learned a big lesson from that, because I think I would just have said, hey, he made the wrong decision, but he was not like that. So
nice. How did you prepare for such an event? Because okay, it gets cold in Denmark, but not as cold as what you went through.
No, I had actually a guide job in Norway, and I brought those stupid snowshoes, and I did a run every morning with the snowshoes on very early, and actually it turned very cold. So I knew how to manage and how the snowshoes should be put on, and so I prepared as good as I could. but I didn't do a lot of training with the snowshoes.
Yeah.
But I was very accurate on putting them on and getting them off like pretty fast. And like triathlon, you have to make the transition.
Yeah.
Is very important. So I worked a lot on that. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
And was the cold an issue? Because when it's very cold, the breathing gets a bit tougher, and when you start sweating and everything freezes.
Yeah, actually, it was more cold than I expected, and probably I had a little too less. I should have brought more clothes, but then you just have to keep moving because it was like -30 one morning, and my eyelashes was filled with ice, and when you blink, it was like getting stuck. But no, it was not a big problem. No, I think it's because Andre and I were pushing each other, so we kept warm from the inside.
Yeah, you had a focus and a goal in mind.
Yeah. So it wasn't too bad. No.
Okay, all right. How many people were there?
Not many. It was like maybe 40 or 45. It's like those stage
crazy
races
ones
are normally very small groups of people.
Yeah. And so was it more by coincidence that you ended up in like so many different things, like jungle, desert, on the ice, or is it something that was from the start a bit of a goal?
Just coincidence, I'd say.
Yeah, because I remember you told me a lot of things happened by coincidence with you, because the race in Mount Fuji. Can you tell us how you got there, basically?
Yeah, it's not I'm not proud about the story, but there's this Rexona, the deodorant. They're putting up a competition where you could win your dream. And I saw that competition. I thought, okay, do I have a dream? No, but I'll find one. So I invented this dream that I wanted to go to Mount Fuji and do the Ultra Trail Mount Fuji, and I would do it in 23.5 hours. And I would
you mentioned that as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would compete with the world's best trail runners. Yeah.
Good. And they picked you out because it was a remarkable
dream. Gave me a lot of money for going there.
And if you, I can't remember your time. I can have a look. I'll have it here with me. Oh, you did 23 hours 31. So did you have to pay it back if it was 24 hours?
No.
Okay, lucky you. So yeah, and I guess from there on, because you managed to finish 7th place, which is a very famous race, because it's also from the whole UTMB circuit, I think. So it's the elite, the top of the world who is at the start. So I guess from there on, you got to race more frequently and got more invitations. Yeah.
That's how it works. Yeah. And I'm pretty proud about that position, because I was on my own during the race, and everybody else had like a lot of support. So it was
completely on the other side of the world. Different.
Pretty lonely. Yeah. And that was a good race, and good experience, and I learned a lot also about. Don't panic if you suddenly end up, you have to do like 3 hours and without any food or anything. Actually I went into there's a mountain section where it's really hard and rough, and something happened, so I didn't get any energy from that checkpoint. And I was really like, oh fuck, this is not good. I can hear myself. Is there some problem?
Yeah, it's fine. No, it's fine.
Okay. So I was just out there in the dark all by myself, and I was just shit. This is not good. I don't have any energy. But then I said, okay, now we just have to think and look. Maybe somebody lost some of their energy, and you can find some gels. And so I just started running, looking at the ground. Actually, I found a gel and some rice and stuff. So I managed to get through those 3 hours.
Okay.
And if you look for opportunities, then you find them.
Yeah,
so I learned that from that race.
if you wish hard enough, then
Yeah.
it's not that you push them and stole the gels, and that's where you got your Barbarian Trail Runner from.
No.
No, no.
Actually, I was really and saying, fuck. And then I ran with this Japanese guy, and he didn't spoke much English, but he just suddenly said, please just run. Okay. And then I focused and said, okay, just look at the ground, you will find something.
Cool, yeah. Cool. And then from there on, like we said, you got some invitations. Was it that much that you could really choose, like, I'll do this, I'll do that, or did you really wanted to get more running experience and pick almost everything you saw on your way, or did you have a bit of a path in mind you wanted to follow, or some personal guidelines, like, okay, it should always be nature or things or places I haven't been?
It was always trail running and always in the mountains, but I really didn't have a path that I wanted to go through, and that was probably a mistake when I look back at it. Because I did some really nice races, but I also did some races just because I could, and that was a bit stupid. So you do like 100-mile and you finish, and it was just like routine. That's a bit. I didn't do that many 100 miles, but it ended up being like a routine. Okay, now we go out and do this.
Yeah, so, and because it took too much from you, or
well,
just because
actually I did okay, but
because you wanted to put more energy in the good races that you really wanted to do.
Yeah, now I'm more like I want a real goal. Like because I really want to do it. Like UTMB, I really wanted to do that. Fuji, I really wanted to do that. Maybe it was a dream a little bit. But then I did a race in Hong Kong, and I was not really into it with my mind, but I did well. But now I did that race in Norway, and I really enjoyed it, and I looked forward to it, and it's a really good experience.
Yeah, and you need that spark for that extra.
You need that, because you only have a few of those really long races in your body, I think.
Yeah, definitely. It takes a lot of, and it takes more energy to get the mindset into it than to run the race. I think the preparation before is much harder, and to the will to perform well in those kind of events takes a lot of energy. And when you have a specific goal, what does your training look like?
Yeah, well,
What is a week for you when you have a specific goal? Do you change your training? Are you training a lot at the moment, or is the races that are not goals more like a training?
No, if I'm in a race, I always race it. That's my nature. I cannot help it. I'll always race it, and that's the fun way to race, I think. But I don't care too much about the number or my position in the race. It's more about how I perform.
The willpower, the effort you put into it.
Yeah. But my training is at the moment it's not very like serious training. It's more like fun and whatever I feel like. But if I'm training for an uphill, I like vertical. I would like to have done some of those races. I'll specific on the uphill or on the downhill. As a Danish runner, I focus a lot of the downhill. On the downhill running, because that's where my weak point is.
Yeah, for us as well here in Belgium, we don't have long downhills, and that's if you compare it then to guys that live in the mountains, even if you go once a week, you can run downhill for half an hour in one go. That's a big difference.
Yeah. But now, by training the downhill, I'm much better at downhill running now.
And do you have a structured training plan you set up when you have a 100K race or a 120K race in mountains, so to say? Do you you set up your training plan for specific for the week, this day, or is it more how well you recovered from your previous run and then you see, or how does it work?
Oh, I don't put up a specific plan, and I think if I do like 100-mile or a 40K, my training is almost the same. I do some really hard training with high intensity, but a lot of really slow running and hiking as well. And that's also why I work as a mountain guide, because I do all the hiking and just get a lot of time on my feet. That's very important.
Yeah.
Then my intensity is there's not so much of it, but I try to put it in and to push hard when I do it, and do it in terrain. So I don't do like a lot of miles, but I do quite a lot of volume of training. Yeah. So I have like
volume on low intensity by hiking and slow running, and then a little bit of higher intensity specific to the race you're gonna do.
Yeah. And often I do the high intensity on the downhill running. So I do my intervals downhill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All on your 170-meter hill.
In
your backyard.
Actually, I can get like 100 meters just down, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And then I used to. I haven't done it for a year or something, but walk with a big backpack with 20 kilos or something like that, just up and down, up and down. That's also functional training. Yeah,
exactly. Because in the end, on these longer races, there are long stretches that you walk as well, and just to get the time on the feet, it's a big help.
That's true.
All right. So no keeping data, heart rate, things. Is that something you experimented with, or is something that?
Actually, right now my heart rate monitor doesn't work, and actually I bought a new one, but it didn't work, so now I'm without it. But when I did my best performance at the national team, I knew exactly how much I could push uphill, downhill, and use the heart rate a lot for that. But now I'm more loose about it.
Okay. Probably because you know your body quite well now.
Well, maybe I don't have a specific goal at the moment.
Okay.
That also might be the reason. I would like to do the spine race.
In the UK?
Yeah.
Is it not won by a woman last year? Yeah, and she was breastfeeding on the way, and so maybe you have to do it on one leg then to be to be more impressive. Well, okay, since that's more on my side of Europe, I might, if you need some support, you can always shout out. And
I would like that, but I don't think you're allowed to have any support.
Okay, but on the finish line, I can come with aluminium blanket and and a hot chocolate milk or something, or a beer. Because the weather can get quite cruel there.
I think so.
As well.
It looks like.
Yeah, actually, we were gonna meet each other for the Bob Graham attempt. I was gonna have a go on this year, but with the whole Corona, it didn't happen. And I found out, because I have some contacts in the Lake District, I found out the day that we were planned to do was not a good day in weather. It was nice before, after, but the day itself, there was like very strong winds already down the mountains. They said, well, probably it was maybe limit even to start. So in the end, I can sleep well and move it to next year, and hopefully you can come over as well. So so a little bit more about your company, Trail Tours. So what do you do exactly, and where can people contact you for?
Well, what do I do at the moment? I'm struck by Corona. Not my body, but my company. I used to work as a tour guide for a normal travel agency.
But it wasn't the tour guide that goes to visit churches and
no, it's like a mountain guide. And I don't know what happened, but I know what happened, because I'm a teacher in physics. And in 2018, I decided not to go flying anymore. And that was a problem as a tour guide because...
What was the reason you didn't want to fly anymore?
Climate, definitely. I didn't want to put the impact on the climate by my... You just mentioned all the things I did. So I'm not too proud about that, but I cannot do anything about what I did, but I can do something about what I do in the future. So I stopped flying, and that was a problem because nobody organized like tours where you didn't fly to the Alps. So I wanted to do like train trips to the Alps and do hiking there, and also to inspire a little bit. Maybe you should fly less and use the train, or maybe stay at home a little bit more, see what's around your backyard. And then I found out I had to make my own agency. No, actually, that's not how it happened. I made my own agency to do tours to Vietnam, Nepal, and Kilimanjaro. But then I found out that was not good for for my mental health to get people out flying. So I did the other thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Suddenly I stopped my job and I didn't have a plan. So I made the plan of going with train trips to Austria.
Okay. And I believe it's a specific place in Austria that you go to, and then there you hike around with people.
I have a base camp there where we make trail running camps and hiking camps, and but hopefully soon somebody will start making train trips so I can just do what I'm best at, being in the mountains and being around with people.
So if anyone needs a job, you can work for Simon, organize his travels, and he'll be the tour guide.
You'll earn all the money. I don't need that, but I'll just get outside because I'm not like a businessman. I'm really bad at that.
And is it all levels you take, or is it you have different trips for different levels?
I've had beginners and people who ran the UTMB, and so it's all kinds of runners.
Okay, nice. And is there a specific, you say you're not a businessman, but is there a bit of plan? Do you want to do only this in the future, or where do you want to go with the company?
No, I don't have a business strategy about that. Actually, I got so sick of not doing anything during the Corona, so I got my teacher's job back. So I'll work as a half-part teacher after summer at the school where I live close by. And then I'll do the tours and the coaching and the trail camps here at my place still. But I really hope to get in contact with somebody who would cooperate with trail tours. And so I don't have to do all the office job that I'm really bad at. So this is... If somebody's out there, call me.
But I will spread the word. So, because I believe you also do kids camps and things around where you live, or
no, I haven't done that yet. But I work at
I thought last week you were away. Or
I was away, but that was with the school,
the
boarding school where they stay. So there's an adventure camp in northern Jutland, Denmark.
Yeah. It's cool to have a teacher like you with this kind of list of things. Okay, so then you decided not to travel far anymore, or by plane to do some races.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not by plane, but maybe I'll travel far. I cannot say. But
by boat.
A bit more hassle, like I told you. I went to a race in Hong Kong. Just, I don't know why, but I went there 4 or 5 days and I went back home. That was stupid. I can see that now, but I didn't see it at that time.
Yeah, and is that something, the whole climate and environment, is that something you became aware of when you were traveling, like some changes you noticed, or is that something that was always deep inside you but only came out recently? Or
I think it's a mix, because I've known about the climate change for a long time and been aware of it, but I didn't see my own role in it because it's so tiny little. But if everybody says it doesn't really matter what I do, then nothing really matters. So I decided, okay, I have my little drop, but I'll take my drop and not put it into that sea, but into the good clean sea. So, so it's and it started by when I went around and saw all the climate change around the world. Because when you're just here in Denmark, you can say, oh, it's just here. But when you see things happening all over in Greenland, in Fiji, on the top of Kilimanjaro, all those places, you just think, wow, something is happening. It's not just something you read about, you feel it. So it made an impact. Yeah.
But what are examples? Like on the top of Kilimanjaro, the snow is gone. I think there's almost.
Sometimes actually there is snow, but I was in Tanzania and it was raining there. Actually, it was cold in Tanzania, and there was a heat wave and a stroke what was it, draft in Denmark at the same time. So the weather patterns are really changing at the moment. And in Greenland, I was also guiding there. And the old sailors, they could say, okay, we used to be able to sail here, but now we cannot because the ground is actually going up because the ice is not putting weight on the ground. So the land is lifting. And that's wow. And you could see the glaciers, how far back they were now. And
the glaciers is a good point of measure. Because
just go to Mont Blanc and see the glaciers there. Oh.
In Austria, well, I was there 2 years ago, 3 years ago. They cover the glaciers now in summer, just as a protection. But can you imagine, like people are hiking, and it's just no nature because it's all like covered in this material.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. So sometimes you do a talk, like a public speaking talk. What are the topics? Is it about your experience as a runner, or what can people ask you for?
Oh, they can ask me for almost anything. I'm no private things, but I talk a little bit about this, how to do the impossible possible, how to approach something that seems really impossible.
Probably about your own experience in racing, and you can reflect it and project it on like business and anything else.
And also just all the good stories from the races. As I told you, I think I remember a lot of things from these races, so I tell stories from the races, people I've met, and pick out some episodes, I can say that. Some that has changed me into my way of looking into things, and also how I react to other people, and to try to be better myself. I have a lot of things I can do better and improve. But
and when you give a speech like that and a talk, actually you become more aware of it yourself, because you have to relive it and make it in words, the thoughts.
So actually it's also a gift for yourself to be able to.
It's a sort of therapy.
Sorry. It is.
Okay, and since I know you, you started organizing races as well. So I believe some of the biggest trail run events in Denmark are with you're involved with it. What races or do you have planned currently, or can you look back on like, oh, we did this one, it was very nice, but
actually this weekend we organize a race just where I live. It's very hilly, so we organize something called Everesting.dk, where people have to run the height of Everest on a route that's 4 kilometers, and they have to run it 32 times. And all the money we get in goes to Doctors Without Borders.
Okay.
And it's just a small backyard event, but we already have like 120,000 kroner. We have like 20,000 euros so far.
Okay, nice.
So and this year there won't be any spectators or anything because of Corona, but we have like 50 in total with helpers and with runners. Yeah. And you
Ah,
can also run Mont Blanc and Galtopiggen, 2 other mountains. Yeah.
so 4 kilometer loops, and you have to cover 9,948 meters, if I'm correct. So how much?
8,000. Yeah.
Yeah, 8,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so what altitude is every round? Do you know, like this, out of your head?
At 280 meters.
So yeah, I guess you go over the
Okay.
biggest mountain.
Oh, the highest point on the route is 129 meters.
Okay.
That's
Because for
nice.
the Everesting, for an event like that, you have to do the same route each time, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's, I don't know. Normally, Everesting came from biking, and you did the same hill, up and down, up and down. But running is much harder because you have to run down as well.
No,
On
yeah.
the bike, you just sit there.
Yeah. It takes longer to run
But
as
I'm
well.
not doing it. I'm just cheering and helping. And
But it's not the first time the Everesting you organized, huh?
that
No?
was the 5th time.
Okay. What is the average time like a normal runner takes to complete?
23, 24, 5 hours, something like that. I
Okay.
guess.
24 hours on the same 4K loop.
Yeah, but
Could be worse. Could
it's
be on
really
the running
fun.
track. So
I think the course is really nice. So they say they're not bored because it has some really nice downhill sections.
I think this year will be more mentally challenging with no support.
Yeah, and they have
Because
to,
you see no one.
yeah, and you have to make your own food and your own energy because we're not having a big buffet.
Yeah,
Pass around. So yeah, it'll be harder.
yeah, it will be a different experience, I
Yeah.
believe. But there's another race you organize, and there's also, isn't there a 100-miler as well?
Yeah, I organized something called Cold Hawaii Ultra or Thy Ultra Trail, and it's in the northern part of Denmark on the west coast, and it's in the end of September. And we have 100 miles and 50 miles and 50K and 25K.
Yeah, and I believe isn't it in a nature reserve?
Yeah, it goes through the national park of Thy.
So yeah, for people that want to discover part of Denmark that is not so known, not so touristic. So
yeah, it's really nice, and it's a point-to-point race. So we take people out in buses, and they have to run down back. So it's really nice.
Yeah. I remember you telling me, and it was somewhere on my list. So I might have to move it up a little bit.
That's another one. That one we do in the winter time. That's called Thy Trail Marathon, and that's in February, and it's in water, and it's also in the same national park, but it's
okay.
really nice. And that's hard to get into.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'll help. We help foreigners to get into it because it's sold out in 10 minutes, and
only if we travel by train.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Maybe electric car is okay.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It was a very nice talk with you. Always, I'd like to finish with to give people something, and like I want to always end with a very practical tip. So we already, you shared some ideas already and tips for trail running. So just people, anyone, because you're a big nature lover, you're a big active person and who likes to explore and to move. So people go out the door. Can you share what do they have to pay attention for, or something that doesn't cost anything? You don't have to do research. What can make their life instantly better? Something small. What can put a smile on their face?
That was a big question, huh? Instantly make life better.
Remember, it's in the small things.
Yeah,
So.
Yeah, it's in the small things. Actually, I think it's just to if you have just to be happy that you actually can get out moving and you can get into nature, and actually you have the energy to go out and waste energy by running. that's a big
Luxury.
you should be happy. That's a luxury thing. It's a luxury thing to just eat and then spend the energy on running. That's a
Yeah,
luxury
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
think about that and then smile, because when you smile, it makes you happy. I try to
yeah, yeah.
smile. Yeah.
That's
No,
true.
but I
Yeah,
think
and there's some
it's just
research about it that when you smile, everything becomes more easy. But
just
it's
appreciate the opportunity you have to go out in nature and to enjoy it.
yeah, it's a very good tip, and I thought about it many times as well to give that to people, that if you have a working body, use it. Use it.
Yeah.
Go out for a run because you can run, because you can walk. Go out. So thank you for that. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Well.
Good.
Yeah.
Simon. Well, thanks a lot for this chat. And to give us a little bit of a light into your brain and how Simon thinks. And yeah, hopefully I see you in real life soon.
Yeah, that could be nice.
Yeah.
This is almost like real life.
Oh yeah, because we're getting too used on the video calls.
No, I'm not. No, but it's been really nice to see you again, seeing you again, and yeah, it gives me a good feeling to see you, and
good.
We should catch up someday. Yep.
Likewise, and I wish you all the best of luck with your company, your running, and all your future plans.
Thank you, and thank you for joining me on all the small little adventures in Nepal that the doctors didn't like at all.
Yeah, yeah, that's what you were saying. We're like two schoolboys, and look, the teacher is not watching. Let's go.
Just went around the corner with a book. That's good.
All right, good.
Yep.
Simon, bye.
Ciao.
Next time.
Yes.